Slight advantage for the Brits on this card, and they took their first action to move here into Waltham. Call to arms, brought more forces into play. The assemble is obviously going to be coming soon. But remember, we can do the snipes and stuff. And it's funny because I forgot about those before I started playing, more or less. And then when I rediscovered them, I forgot about the restriction on them. Okay, we were able to back it all up, but they're kind of like lost in my mind now, even though they would be helpful perhaps here. Maybe not with as many points available. Anyway, we're going to pick off our search here, and let's see. That's, 1 point penalty. Let's see what we get. Oh, we get a victory point. And the important thing, we get that out of the way. That puts us back on the Americans. And I got to swap batteries and really kind of think more while I've been playing, so I'll probably back away a little bit more, not go so much into detail, especially the details of my analysis paralysis. I don't know how to talk when I'm struggling with the what to do. As you can see, if you watch some of my personal life videos. Anyway, a snipe attack here. Was it a snipe? Yeah. Which, as opposed to an ambush, which hit one of the British troops. Now I have to worry about getting a rally or whatever. The fact that I divided my forces is causing me a problem, as the Brits. I could move in here and search this, but then I'm in danger of being assaulted by the Lexington forces, which look like they might outnumber me. It's hard to tell. The British regulars are pretty potent, but is it worth a big stand here at Metatomi? Or do I wait at Lexington and maybe draw more forces in? Do I move? I don't know. If I leave here, that gives these guys a chance. They'll end up spawning. But if I leave a unit behind, then I'm further weakened. That doesn't seem like a real option. It seems like a better option to spend an action and say, yeah, you're not going to muster there. What to do? I don't know. Search has been completed. I could attack. There are victory points in killing these things. However, if I attack, we find the combat rules. There's the opportunity to retreat. And we have to get 6s. And we don't get many units. I roll basically 1 die looking for a 6 to see if I can hit that. The same as the sniping attack. Which probably isn't worth wasting an action on, because now he would get his move marker if that happened. But I'd be wasting an action and not really doing anything. So it's kind of like I don't really want to attack him. So then what? I think I moved to Monotony and figure out what to do from there. For the Patriots, do I cut into my reserves? I'm not going to be able to attack with both these units, in a combined, there's no combined operations. You have to get everybody stacked and everything, which means what I think my best option is to blow my regular action and do the assembly and move as far as, and move as many pieces as I can. If I blow one of these on a movement, I can get to Lexington a little quicker, but you know what? I could assemble and get into Lexington, assuming the Brits don't get the first shot at me. If they do and they take an assault, well, we'll see what happens. But I think that's where I'm going to go. And that means the Brits are going to search here and take away my... This is, even though it's got a green on it, it's a 1-pointer, which is the same as the blanks. So it doesn't really matter. Some of the optional rules that randomize the points or whatever, they make the blanks worth different, right? So that one is a guaranteed point taken away from the Patriots, so it's worthwhile. But all those blanks on there. Now maybe if you combined maybe the draw for the value of a blank versus make the Minutemen, or make the militia worse than the Minutemen already are, or worse than all the Patriot troops are. That might make sense. Another option is, see, do I want to blow one of my reserves just to prevent that? You know, that may make sense. But I'm on the Patriot turn, and that's the problem. If I use this, the Brits can drop a point in there, and I will not have the opportunity to remove that and muster those guys. All the same, I think I'm going to do the assembly action. Expend one of their reserves to put a no muster in here. I think that's probably good, and then do the search. A little worried about Lexington. We'll see how much is mustered there. We have the cleanup to do, and we do have any mustering going on. That can go away. There's no searching. I got a muster over here that takes place, but that's about it. I think we're going to try the assault. We look at what we got here. Adams, Hancock, catching them would be good. Yes, it's 4 pieces to 4 pieces. No, 4 pieces, 3 pieces to 4 pieces. However, we're not going to be able to get this up there. More troops might be coming down. We'd rather win this. And got Wabbit to avenge recently. So, assault gives us a move and a fire marker. Grab a moved marker. Just because nobody ever fires first. We march into there. How do we want to deal? Well, the defender will battle. The attacker gets to choose whether to do simultaneous or defensive. If I take simultaneous, I lose. One of my units becomes broken. What is the effect of a unit becoming broken when retreat after battle? Yeah. Okay. Well, what's on the back of these things? That's really what the question is. It just says broken. Do they not get to fire when they're broken? I don't know. Players deal each hit. A hit may be called. What? Simultaneous combat. Each player totals the strength points. Yeah, well, that's not covered there. Let's see if it's covered somewhere else. They're worth 0 if it's broken. I was worried about that. So if I lose one, I'm broken. On the other hand, what am I facing here? I'm facing 2 dice at 5 or 6, and quite possibly 2 more dice at 5 or 6. Which is likely at least a hit. I'm going to do simultaneous combat and break one of my units. And that means, let's get these guys together. I don't care about Hancock and Adams at this moment. 2 of these. We got 4 British regular points. Oh! And 5 colonials. That was a pretty good pick for the colonials. It's not 4 British regular units, it's 2 units, 4 points. I have trouble picking things up because of my damn gloves. There's so many dice is really the problem. Alright, it's 5s and 6s. for the militia. Yeah, they don't succeed. But I got 4 hits on them. Which, how do I want to take these? That's a good question. That 2-point unit obviously does not want to get hit. I don't know how much leaders are worth. They rally things. They're kind of cool. Leaders are worth the same 2 points. Gosh. And then I'd be allowed to retreat after battle if I wish. Okay, what did I have? 4 hits on me. Well, leaders are not terribly useful. What's up with wounded leaders? Oh. Are they incapable of doing anything? That's probably the case, if I can find them. There we go. Wounded leaders may be worth victory points. Wounded leaders can still rally. Huh. Okay. What does a wounded leader give me? Anything here? I don't think so. And it seems to me wounded leaders are perfectly capable of doing things. So yeah, we'll take 2 hits on our leaders. That means 2 more hits. I'll damage 2 of these units. Wounding leader seems like a no-brainer, huh? Doesn't seem to have any fucking effect except putting you closer. Now, maybe in something it's worth something, but it doesn't appear to be worth anything here. I don't see anything. Yep, I don't see anything. Okay, so that was the British action. And now, these guys all have a fired marker on them, which kind of sucks. They won't be able to shoot back, like another firing. But their existence there prevents a search, so I don't want to retreat. Don't know what I'm doing. Make a correction to what I said. Sometimes I babble without thinking. I always babble without thinking. At Lexington, their existence doesn't prevent a search, but it reduces the likelihood of getting victory points. Now, I am allowed to search for Adams and Hancock. This probably makes that impossible, though, all those troops there. That's because that's the penalty. Let's see. Subtract 1 if there's any healthy militia and 1 if there's any healthy Minutemen. So I'd have to get a 3 hash mark card or more. That's pretty unlikely. Now I could spend a point to see what's coming, because that's real interesting. And now before I do that, do the Americans want to run away with Hancock and Adams no matter what? Because if the Brits see that there's like a 3 hash mark card there, they're going to go for it, you know? And it's probably the safest move. So I think yes. I look, I got no value to my searches coming up. I got to try to remember that. Like I said, the Americans are going to move the Sons of Liberty, who move a maximum of 2 regions. Can they leave the map? Wow, there's a lot of things for subject to capture. 6.9, 7.1, 7.2. The hell? What's all that part? I don't see it. Oh, if they're left behind or something, maybe? Yeah, I don't know what the 7.1 and 7.2 has to do with. 7.2 doesn't even exist. 7.1 doesn't look like it has anything to do with them. Who knows? All right, so we were gonna move them, and they can go 2 regions. The question is, can they leave the map? But they can certainly flee to Lincoln, where they'll be a little bit safer. And now we're back on the Brits, and knowing the search cards that I know, with all those troops there, might be worth searching Lexington. On the other hand, I don't know, what was the top card? It was an even card, and the card under it is a pro-American card. So I may want to hold off till next turn, but I'm not going to remember who saw what and what they're going to see by any stretch of the imagination. These guys, there are healthy militia and such not there. That's going to be not particularly easy to search either. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know why. Do I care about anything else? I don't know. I can make an attack with this. I can make an assault or a rally or all kinds of different things. And that's the problem with the game, is that it's nothing wrong with the game, but I'm left with far too many decisions, and they all seem pretty decent. It's not like I have some overarching strategy, except that I want to get to Concord and I want to do it late in the game, I think. Now let's make sure my victory conditions don't mean that that's a problem. I get a victory point for each British regular with belonging to Smith and Pitcairn that's with the Lexington group. I don't know if this is the Percy Lexington group. This is the only place I think the victory points are. So the fact that that's kind of vague. Let's see, if the British have Percy, the cannon unit, and at least 4 unbroken British regulars, they get 1 victory point for each regular belonging to Smith and Pitcairn, broken or unbroken, that join Percy and Lexington. Yeah, if we win at Concord, we still have to run back to Lexington. That doesn't help. And we lose points for other things, right? I don't remember if that's there. I thought there is. If the British have points are awarded immediately and scored, I don't know. Each unit can only score victory points. Smith and Pitcairn units that are awarded the victory points should be rotated. At the end of the game, the Patriots get 1 point for each Smith and Pitcairn, broken or unbroken, including the leaders that are still on the board but haven't joined Percy at any point. So I have to run to Concord. Oh, what am I doing? What is even the question? It's how to spend these fucking points, but is just the kind of thing that just freezes my brain, and I don't fucking know what to do. I can tell you, there's like a lot of moved markers. Oh, that's him. Okay. Yeah, I think what I did my Brits. They did a search to grab no points. I want to get that guy out of there, right? So for the Americans, I definitely want to do an assembly and get some of these guys moving. I'm a little worried, like I'd like to get this big force up with the Lexington force and maybe really pick on that weak British force. Of course, the danger of that is Concord could fall, but that's okay. So, do I assemble or do I do something else? Do I snipe? So many damn options. I feel like it with every single choice I have in this game. I feel like they're all too meaningful. And I know a lot of people really want meaningful choices in their games. For me, I want to be able to, have a broad strategy and have everything kind of obvious beyond that. Yeah, there might be a little bit of number crunching to figure out which thing is better. But it's not that nature here. I'm left frozen with this. I got no fucking clue what I want to do. I mean, I know what I want the British to do. I want the British to search out, find all their stuff, hit Concord, and apparently get back to Lexington, which I may not have. I may have dawdled too much. By splitting my forces, I may have made that impossible. I don't know. We'll see. But getting the most searches in had to do with this. And I don't really care too much about getting these forces together until we hit Lexington. Smith can go marching back this way. Pitcairn has to make it to Lexington, though. Anyway, we're on the American choices, though, right now. What do they want to do? Do they want to move first? Do they want to shoot something first? Shooting something seems bad because I've got a broken unit in each thing. That means the rally action's not particularly good right now. Do I want to waste a pip on him? He could go search that eventually. I don't know. I can't move Pitcairn. Smith is unimportant to me unless it's to kill this. My chance of killing that isn't very high. It's not his turn. It's the Americans' turn. What the fuck do the Americans do? Right? And yeah. They have 2 points that they can use. They want to save their reserves if they possibly can. What are those 2 points? Well, one of them is an assembly. What is the other one? They don't know. I think I do the assembly now. But this is how my brain freezes when I'm given so many choices, all that seem about the same, and none of them particularly seem better or worse for my overall strategic idea. I know what I want to do strategically. The Americans, I want to get my forces together, preferably at Lexington, beat that army, and because the Brits split up, and then maybe rush back to Concord or towards Concord to prevent Smith from getting there, or let him get there and then stop him on the way back to Lexington. But the biggie is to make the Brits pay for having split their forces. I know that, but I still can't fucking figure out what to do. And in most games, it's pretty easy to figure out what to do once you know what you want to do, on the broad scale. Like the little optimizations are very easy. Here, I don't feel like they're little optimizations. I feel like I'm stuck with all these equal choices, and that just, that kills me. A lot of Euros have that too, where I broadly know what I want to do, but I can't effectuate it. I have too limited resources. Here I have limited resources. I can't figure out which thing to prioritize over all these things I want to do because I can't, whatever, It's got to do with the limitations. It's fine in a lot of games if there's limitations, but it's what introduces the interest and the conflict in it. But for me, there's something paralyzing about certain types of limitations, and for whatever reason, this game is really doing that to me. Ouch. It turns out the Patriots were too aware of what the British were thinking, right? It happens in a solo game. And are converging on Lexington for that Pitcairn kill. Yeah, well, what that meant is British force moved forward. Neither side chose to use reserves on this turn, but what that meant is I'm moving Smith forward to try to get to Concord, get that 5 victory points for Concord. And again, I've got split forces, so if those guys can hold out there for a while, or near there, I may be able to foil this Patriot plan. We hope. What happens here? Well, there's a British regular here, so these guys are still not going to muster. I could have tried to shoot them or something, but attacking is tough in this game, and the charge is kind of the exception to that. And the Brits are just tougher in general than what I can expect to draw. So, let's see what we got here. Anything exciting changing? We are going to get rid of the no muster, which would have prevented that muster anyway. And a bunch of moved markers, and I think that's it. Damned moved markers. And I mean, it's not like I've walked away from the table. Switching hats. That does cause some confusion, but, you know, where I normally play, there are interruptions between actions and such not that are at least as bad as whatever is going on with me, because I'm often playing with the guy who's behind the counter at the game store, right? Anyway, Adams and Hancock got left alone. How terrible is this? Well, the Brits can force march into there. Then I have to move again and run away, but they ran to where they went to in order to get away from the British forces. Little did I know all of the Patriot forces are running that way. Such is life, right? But yeah, that could be a problem. Now, I don't know what they're even worth. They're worth 6 each. Ouch. If they're captured at game end. How can they get free? Well, can they escape? I don't know. If they can, it's not that big a deal. Oh, only Sons of Liberty can escape. Not listed for Knight Riders. Uh-oh. Is that different in the rulebook? I wouldn't be surprised. Let's try to find where the actual rules are. Yeah, it affects Knight Riders in the rulebook, just not in the play aid. Again, do not trust this thing, it's useless. Or close enough to it. This is all you need. Maybe with like a couple of words that tell you in general what it does, but you need to look at every single fucking one of them up in the rulebook, or else you might get the wrong idea. Yeah, a certain level of failure in terms of quality assurance for the player aids. Rebel scum get to move first with a lot of pips. And I run away with Hancock and Adams. Can't have them getting caught. A forced march could have gotten them there. But now comes the Brits issue. And here's the problem. I got kind of a weak force sitting here in Lexington. And I'm not so sure that that's the wisest thing to have. Unfortunately, there's no, I could run up to here. That seems like I'm getting myself thrown into a corner. There's no place I can run that'll get me out of assault range. Yeah, and so I guess I gotta stay there. Question is whether or not I want to do a rally. I think I can survive this. So I am going to move Smith, now that Lincoln is clearly open, and head up there to do searches. Concord looks like it's open. I'll be able to hit that. We'll see what it all turns out as. This is very ahistorical what's happening, but it's not unreasonable. The question is, what'll show up from it? You know, do the Brits get hammered here and lose so much that the Concord, you know, being able to get to Concord and then bringing Percy forward to Lexington is counteracted by the amount of damage that happens at Lexington, and you know, not having the concentrated force to face what's becoming a very concentrated rebel force with 4 big victory points dependent on the Lincoln space. With things running as close as they are, in terms of, hey, time's kind of running out and everything, maybe I can't save Lincoln, but I can save this, or maybe Lincoln can be saved too. I don't know. I think it's time to start going into the reserve actions. Now, obviously, I can't do it right away, but the point is that if I spend an action right now to prevent a search there, which is what I'm going to do, I only have 1 action left, and what I kind of want to do is move in and then launch an attack on the Brits at Lexington. But I don't have the actions to do both of those. I probably shouldn't have spent an action on a call to arms to get one more militia able to be moved this turn, but you know, I always have to grab every little piece that I can. All right, I don't know what the Brits are going to do about this. The Patriots gather here at Lexington, ready for an attack. I was planning on moving this Bret 1-2 into here, but that's not going to happen because more than half their size in unbroken troops is here now. So I'm just going to bank that last point. I'm going to need points. Got more forces in play. Haven't made it to Concord yet. All kinds of problems there. You can see I did rally. That was one of the acts that I took, and now it's time for the battle. Since these have not moved, they're going to withdraw before combat. Now I do get opportunity fire on them, which is going to be 1 die per unit. Normally, I don't know what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just don't think that I can face all that without Percy. So yeah, I'm gonna fall back. Rutgers, the rebels. 4 dice. This is a very noisy place. No hits whatsoever. Now a move marker gets placed there, but it doesn't matter. We're both out of actions. We're going to hit the cleanup for the turn. Next turn, Percy comes in at Boston. We'll see what he can do. Okay, so here we are on turn 9. Percy's showing up with his cannon, has some special rules and everything. As far as I can tell, he can't take the naval movement across. I'm looking at the Percy's reinforcements. There's no indication of it. I think that's only available to the initial Boston forces. Can't be sure. Should we look? I don't know. I'm trying to remember where it was. You know, it's been a couple of days since I played, and it's a game filled with special rules. And again, for whatever reason, I glom onto one game to compare a game to, and even though this isn't very much like it in a lot of ways, maybe the closest that I can think of is Robin Hood. Another game filled with all kind of little special cases and rules and everything. And, you know, it becomes a challenge of how to best manipulate those rules. But finding the special cases is not terribly easy for me. So in this case, and it doesn't help for me that the rules are organized in a way where a lot of them are baked into the piece rule, what the pieces are, and then we have these actions. I'm not really sure where, maybe it's in the first turn scenario rules, you know, where I'm going to find that piece of information about the Brits and how they're able to it's the 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. No, on the first turn only. Okay, so that's pretty clear. But I had to spend a lot of time to find that just to confirm it, because yeah, you know, I'm not sure where I would expect it. Again, I mean, the scenario rules is probably the closest, but there's only one scenario other than the bots. So, anyway, we got 4 points for each. The Brits have to take the first action. We got a marker that doesn't belong here. Don't want to leave stuff like that lying around. I've got a couple of things I need to do. I need to get Percy to Lexington. That is absolutely key. And I want to get Smith to Concord. That also is pretty damned important. I'm facing 2 unbroken units here. which is, I think it's more than half. Again, you know, because each side is different, it's hard to remember these things. One side's more than half can buzz through. One side is where are movement rules? Are they just here in movement action? British units must stop if it contains greater than or equal to half the number of British regulars. No, both sides are half there. But on something, it's not halved for one side and it is for another. I haven't been able to get the search of Lincoln. I can get that on the way back, maybe. But I can't run through this space, which means my movement's kind of hindered there. A hinder movement action could be placed here, so I had better get Percy moving. Now, I could force march him. Which is just breaking one unit. I'm going to do that as well. Except not that unit. That's my cannon. I'll break one unit and I'll move a third space while I can, because who knows, a no movement marker could show up and I really do have to get up to Lexington and win there too. But which of course breaking units won't necessarily help. What's up with the rebels? Well, we're going to make Lexington our strong point, it sure is. But do we want to try to wipe these suckers out and move forward? Let me think a little bit about what better things I could do. Pretty sure call to arms isn't going to do me any good. Of course, if I move into here, the Brits can withdraw from there. So I'd have to do an assault. An assault means it's from one space into the other. Which, gosh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, I don't roll as well. 6, call it 7, call it 8 maybe. To 6. I just don't feel like I'm strong enough. If I do an advance into here, just with the assemble action, I can get more pieces there, but then I've used up my movement into Lexington, and I don't know if I want to do that. Shit. And I'm still troubling on the same decision here. You can see how tough it is for me to decide anything ever. Although, I can't find anything explicit on it. One would have to be taking rules reading to a very permissive level to say that I could move into here with these guys and then do an assault with these and fire on them during it. So pretty much no matter what I do, my choices come down to assemble everybody in there or just do an assault with this stack. Those are really my two choices. Now I have a slight numerical edge, but the regulars have a combat edge. There's not much, like my no movement pips and such, they aren't going to help me with this. So I think I want to make life harder. I'm going to do an assemble action. No, I'm going to do my call to arms and bring this guy into play. Why not? My idea is I'm going to do an assemble and move these guys into Lexington. It becomes really the key point to all this. If Percy can't make it into Lexington, there's problems. And I'm beginning to see the weaknesses in splitting my forces, which we suspected were there. What for the Brits now? I could assault Pickering here. That might be an interesting choice, but I've got to get him moving. All right, I'm going to assault Barrett. I think. See, that still doesn't get me there without a forced march, and then I got to make my way home. But yeah, we're gonna do an assault on him now. What the hell is this doing in there? Did I pull this off of something? Shit. 2 liters there. Warren was sitting here in my moved firebox as if I picked him up. Is he one of the ones who was assigned at the beginning? Because I was clever enough. Yeah, now we're lost. He was in Roxbury initially. Maybe he's here? For whatever value that means. The nice thing about leaders is they take hits, apparently. Which makes that assault not so bad. Anyway, I was going to assault into here. No. Oh shit, I got this search. And I'm not all that healthy, but alright. I'm going to assault into there. If I take an extra loss, then I can do a rally. That triggers a move marker, but it will trigger a fire if the Americans don't leave. I think the Continentals will stick around because preventing movement into Concord doesn't sound like a bad move overall. So let's resolve this combat. We find so the defender is going to battle the attacker. Can't take simultaneous, so I'm too weak as it is. So we'll draw us a chip, and we got 3 pips, and these hit on 5s and 6s, and chances are we'll get 1, which the simultaneous would have caused. Yeah. Which means the Brits only get 2 dice. We don't want to lose units. And they only get 1 hit. Given that leaders don't matter, taking a single casualty on a leader is a bonus thing, because they seem to be able to do whatever they want while they're wounded. Maybe I'm missing something. I'll take the hit on the leader. We got a moved fired marker here. And because we fought, we got a fired marker here. And of course, this is going to make it hard for me to determine what's going on, but that's just... dealing with new layouts, new type of game, it makes it harder to assess the information on the board. It's not something against the design, it's that the design is unfamiliar more than anything else. So now I was going to do my little move action. Now, is there a reason? Yeah, I better move those guys. Let's just do that. Let's get them further away. I don't think they can go off board. We'll just keep running. And that puts it back on the Brits. What can I do? I need to rally this. I took my 2 hits, so, you know, now I'm happier. We'll get that there too. Puts it on the Continentals. This is funny because if I do the assembly action, right, then the Brits can like start using their reserves in Lexington to do a search or whatever. So I can't set myself up for the attack yet. I don't think. I'm below in reserves, so I'm not as good there. What would I want to do other than that, though, is a question. Shit. It's just the timing of the chart. And it may be the case across the board if the other guy's got reserve actions that exceed you. You're not going to be able to trap him against the wall and blow away one of his units in the way that I'd like. I think I'd rather see him blow his reserve stuff. So I'm going to do an assemble action and move all kinds of pieces. And we're going to focus on getting into there. If that forces Pitcairn out of there, hey, that's fine. Then we'll all be gathered and we can do an assault action into Lexington next turn. He's going to play his reserve action to move into Lexington. That'll allow him to do a search there. Get rid of those points at least. What else do we have? Puts it on the Americans. I got a point left. What could I do with that point? Well, if they had stayed here, I would have shot them, right? Can't do that. It doesn't look like there's much I could do. I could do a plink on someone. So I don't go running away further. I can plink one of these moved forces. Particularly might be interesting shooting up Percy. I could drop like a no move marker somewhere, but Percy could march this way or this way. There's no individual route that I really want to drop that on, and it would only last for one turn, but probably doesn't matter much. So, do I want to shoot? Shooting might do me some good. I could shoot these guys who I plan on hitting next turn if I can, but they could rally. Maybe. I got 2 actions, they probably will, both rally and search. So that doesn't seem terribly valuable. Likewise, a rally could happen here on Percy if I get a hit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bank my point at this point, because we're kind of at the key point of the game. Oops. Let's bank it in the right direction. That puts it on the Brits. I got 1 or 2 actions left, depending on how you want to look at things. I'll just spend my base action, do a search here. We get 2 victory points, which is nice. And this is flipped over, which is 3 more victory points. And now we're at the end, time to do cleanup, because both players are in the 0 action. Let's draw a first action again. I don't know what this does for me. I can't do any fast movement to get to Concord. That's pretty important. Here, I'm probably going to withdraw from combat. So that's not much. Moving Percy, I don't know which is the more efficient place to put him. That's what it comes down to. It's here or here. This is 1, 2. I mean, both. Yeah, this looks better. So I'm going to force march Percy again with an action. And I gotta remember to flip one of his guys over. So he gathers there. We got everything pinned everywhere else. It's time for the assault. Everything comes in. I think we just get moved markers because the Brits are not going to stick around for this. Now, I can't run back here. I've got 4 unbroken units. Let's see the withdrawal before combat shit. Okay, I'm all unmoved, so I don't get any of the special penalties for, running away from combat when you're tired. Now, somewhere there's the fire marker doesn't get placed. I don't remember if the fire marker gets placed. I think op fire causes the fire marker to be placed. but I don't remember. Let's see. Shit. Where was that? I don't think we attacked or defended, so I don't think we get a marker. Right? Unless opportunity fire says something. Yeah, all units that attacked receive a fired marker. Okay. So, well, how many units attacked? The amount is equal to how many dice the Patriot unit gets to throw. You count all retreating military units, both broken and unbroken, and all healthy leaders. Okay. So, I can choose not to fire all my units or to fire all of them. Now, maybe this is only attack and not assault? I'm not sure. That's not clear, but I think I get to shoot with the assault. So I'm going to do that, because getting that fired marker doesn't really hurt me. And that means I get 4 dice against the Brits. And I think I hit on 5s and 6s, because that's how the Patriots work, right? No. Retreating British units, it's 6s. Ah, the difference is the Patriots, if the Patriots are running away, they're halved. How many losses they take. So we got no losses. Where did the British want to retreat to? Can't retreat to here because that's where I was assaulted from. I can retreat to here. That looks good. Now I get a moved marker for retreating. I'm going to remember to do those things. And we're back on the Brits. What's up with them? A lot of points. A lot of things I'd like to do. What would an assault here be like? Is it a wise thing? Asked the owl. I'm Brits. Of course it's a wise thing. I don't get as much firepower, and I might get blocked. I think I'm going to just do a move into, oh, this shouldn't be there anymore. I gotta remember to remove these things. I'm gonna just do a moved into there. Puts it back on the Americans. Adams and Hancock look safe. They can't run off the board, but do I want to do an assemble? I mean, I got a lot of disparate troops that I could move. Or I could plink at stuff. Plinking at stuff is fun. Or this is the main roadway. But he's not moving this turn. You know, if he wants to force march into Lexington and weaken himself, I think we may be okay with that. I gotta paw through some pieces, see if I have any other opportunities that I want to take. But I'm probably gonna be shooting something. I sniped Percy here, and I got 1 hit. A lot of dice, 1 hit only. The cannon doesn't count towards the dice. Realized something about snipe, which I've known before, but probably forgotten, which is you can only snipe if they've moved at least 2 areas on the road, which, like, I couldn't snipe these guys, which would be probably about equal to an ambush or whatever, which is the other way that I can attack. Now, I can ambush these guys even though I sniped them too. But now we're back on the Brits, and we probably are best served by a rally here, which lets us get 2 of those 3 guys that we've got injured back. I don't know, there may have been another effect of broken units that I don't remember. And that moves this down. Puts us back to the Americans. There's no broken units here. I don't want to attack here. And this kind of hurts because if I attack here, then Concord becomes a place I could withdraw to with the Brits and get them maybe even into here for a search. That's going to be rough. I don't have a lot of turns left. A lot of actions to expend. Shooting these guys doesn't do me a whole lot. Shooting these guys doesn't do me a whole lot. But those guys have already rallied. So why don't we just ambush them too? I'm pawing through looking for an ambush marker. That gets me 2 more dice. These hit on 5s and 6s instead of just 6s. I get no success. Now, the Brits. I don't have any rallies I want to do. I can move this. He's kind of doing a good job by pinning these guys down. Or I could just bank the point and make sure we both have 2. That puts it on the Americans once more. Yeah. Still have a reason not to attack there. However, I have not done an assemble move yet. And I think I will, and move a whole bunch of my units. And then we get clean up.